Pisces, welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here. Again, I've experienced a technical difficulty this morning, and today is the first day of Mercury retrograde. So I'm just gonna say that that's what it is. I really feel like this message is for you, and I didn't want to put it away and start over when I realized that it wasn't recording, but it literally recorded only 30 seconds, which was my introduction. So I'm going to try to recapture the energy of what I have already read and bring you to where we are, okay? And if it doesn't work, I will just get rid of this video and that will be that. All right, technical difficulty, Mercury retrograde, breathing through it. We're gonna get through it. I have a feeling this is gonna be an extremely intense Mercury retrograde. And guys, just FYI, there are only 9 private reading spots, I think, something like that. My person told me for the rest of the year. So if you're interested in a private reading, now's the time to book it. And I'm not encouraging you to do that. There are regular people that come to me that don't have a reading yet scheduled in December. So just letting you know. So we begin here with these angel oracle cards, and this Pisces, remember yesterday how we had 789, 789? Now you're getting 456, okay? And this literally says, you have the power to make things happen. It is time for you to take action with faith and confidence, knowing that your angels are guiding and supporting you every step of the way. Then you have this refocus energy. And, when I did say in the reading earlier that when I get cards like this, when I'm doing readings for myself, I will consciously take 5 to 10 minutes out of every day to sort of really focus on and really, try to align with what I am trying to create in my life. I will just very mindfully, very consciously carve that time out to really manifest. Then you have this 666. And 666 is actually one of my favorite numbers. But anyway, it says refocus to find balance between your material and spiritual aspects of life. Stop putting too much emphasis on material things. Remember yesterday in your reading, which also, by the way, you guys, your comments yesterday they touched my heart and soul. Literally touched my heart and soul. That reading, I didn't know where it came from, and I wasn't really prepared for it, and I felt like I was kind of stumbling and just trying to get out the messages that were coming to me and trying to stay out of my head and just let it roll. And you guys were amazing yesterday. Thank you so much for all of your feedback and your comments and your hearts and you guys are amazing. I truly love you guys. But here we are again, 666. And it says, refocus to find balance between your material and spiritual aspects of life. And yesterday in that reading, I was talking about how, as a spiritual being having a human experience, this body, this part of me that you can touch, that you can affect, that you could, physically hurt, that is vulnerable, is 10% of me at best. 90% of me, you can't see or touch. You do not have access to it unless I give you access to it, right? We're all that way, okay? And this card really reminds me of that, and to remember that, because we are energetic tools. We are little vibrating sensitive beings, right? And there are so many things I want to say right here. So many. But when we take on too much of the things that we can't control, and the things that are outside of us, and the things that really are just breaking our hearts or are in conflict with what the world we're trying to manifest within ourselves, for ourselves and for our children and our grandchildren, or whatever the case may be for you. and we get really focused on what we're seeing, on what is happening, it will pull us away out of alignment with what we personally are trying to align with, and it will align us more with that. And we don't want that. We want it to bend toward us. We don't want to bend toward it. So we have to stay in alignment with ourselves, with what we are just trying to do. So remember, right, that even as people cannot walk up to you and see all of you, they can only see the human part, the body part. We cannot see everything that is going on. And there is a lot going on inside you that other people cannot see. You do not have a speech bubble above your head letting everyone know what you're thinking. There's a lot happening there, that other people are just not aware of. And the same is true in life and in this situation. Yeah. All right. Then you have this prosperity 808. Embrace your potential and welcome prosperity. You are making wise decisions and heading in the right direction. This is confirmation. Some of you may actually even see 808, or 808 may even already be a significant number to you. Eights are, they're a really good number. As within, so without, as above, so below. Like it's all you're reading. All of these numbers are all really, really, really tying together to, I feel like, even yesterday's message. Then you have harmony here, and it's 121, and it says, embrace harmony in your life. Seek balance between your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. This is, what are you creating? What do you want to create? Ones and twos. This is the beginning. This is, planting those seeds like we were talking about yesterday. What, you're setting the tone for what harmonizes around you and what you allow to harmonize with you. If you're not in harmony and resonance with some stuff, then don't engage, kind of, is what I'm getting. Focus more on what you're creating. Then these cards came out, all right? And I got this feeling of that I should just sort of let this be, right? And just read these words to you and just sort of you sit with it and let your intuition sort of tell you what it means. Because I actually got bombarded with so many messages when they came out, because this is a general reading. I can't possibly even say them all, but I will just touch on a few things that stood out to me. But first I'm going to leave this to you. So we start with this card of drowning. Then we have waiting. Then we have nostalgia and cold shoulder, which came out together. No and be mine. All right. So I just intuitively, I feel like there are messages in there that I feel like you probably are getting or can get just from those words and those cards and those pictures. The thing that I was really most drawn to immediately was in this waiting card, there are these 3 dots. And I think they're called ellipsis or something. I use them all the time when I'm communicating. But what I got was the vibe of, someone either texting and then not sending it, or you having a conversation where you're in anticipation, where you can see that someone is typing back to you and you're waiting for those messages. So, whatever, take that as it resonates. It's the only card out here that has that. The other thing I got strongly was with this no, I got this energy of how many roses are in this picture. This world is so plentiful that I think I'll just leave it there. We don't, it's just that pushing pause on your life is a really important decision, and it has impacts for you. And, when there is so much abundance in this world, Do we really need to push pause? I don't know. Only you can answer that. But with this drowning, this waiting, this nostalgia, and this cold shoulder, and this no, there's just this feeling. I feel like for some of you, someone really broke your heart. And I feel like you spent some time kind of waiting for them to come back and sort of living on the nostalgia of it. You know, we're not creating new memories because we're not together. So we're very past focused here, you know, going over things that have already happened or that have already occurred, or you know, moments that we've already shared, right? But we're not creating anything new, you know? Then you have this be mine, which is like warm and sparkly and shiny, and it feels new and it feels exciting. And it feels to me that there is this period that has happened that is giving way to some kind of new opportunity. And it may even be like, well, do we really want to give a new opportunity a chance? Or are we and have we been giving new opportunities a real chance? But, or are we more still kind of focused on this past and this waiting? Then you got absence, unappreciated, disagreements, habits, and broken. I got this message from Spirit. And it was hard to say the first time, but I'm going to go for it again. It's this energy of even these, everything is a lesson, everything has its purpose, everything has its reason for being, everything. Even us pushing pause. And I literally got this very strongly, and I have never gotten this message before. But it was like, sometimes what I got literally was the 5 stages of grief. That like, when we love and we lose, grief is the price we pay for love. So when we love and we lose, we experience grief typically. And there is some commonality, enough commonality in the spiritual being having a human experience that can make these generalized sweeping things that are somewhat true, right? The 5 stages of grief. If you're grieving, chances are you're going to experience these 5 stages to whatever degree, whatever part of the spectrum it is that it affects you. But you're going to experience this, and that is like common to all of us. And what I got was that sometimes the universe uses these spaces of grief to transform us, to give us an opportunity to have space, to fly solo. And so sometimes if we weren't waiting for someone, if we weren't, going through these stages of grief, we might have a tendency to maybe even try to avoid the grief and pair off with someone else and just avoid it and move on. But the grief is in and of itself its own opportunity, even though it hurts, even though it's heavy, even though it's hard. Grief encourages us to go within. Grief encourages us to fully experience what we're experiencing. And there are big lessons tied up with grief, right? In yoga, we study that non-attachment, detachment, whatever you want to say, where we understand that everything in life is in a constant state of change, and therefore nothing really truly belongs to us, and therefore if we allow ourselves to become attached or allow ourselves to feel like we own something or that something belongs to us, we will only surely experience the suffering and the grief of that of that choice to allow ourselves to feel that way or get attached in the first place. Back to Francis. What is... Oh no, come here. Who's out there? Who is it? What's going on? Huh? Oh, Bubby, I don't even see anybody. I don't even see anything, but you're sure upset. What a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I literally know that I am so attached to my dog. I can't even almost even say this because I will start bawling, but I know that I will probably outlive him. And I know that I'm extremely attached to him. And I know that I will grieve, and that will be the price I pay for this love. And I am consciously aware of that, and I consciously choose to love him with reckless abandon and be as attached to him as I want to be, despite all that. But I know, and even everybody in my family is pretty attached to my dog because he's just that kind of dog, But they're all like, oh my gosh, Mom, or, I am going to be a complete train wreck, and everybody is already, he's only 6, and everybody is already trying to figure out how we're going to counter that, how we could make that less bad. The only way to make it less bad is to not get attached, to not allow yourself to get attached. And there are some things worth falling for. There are some things worth allowing yourself to get completely attached to, and bhakti is one of them. So there are some things that we just, even, despite our best efforts, it's that darn humanness, it's that darn fragility. It is. And, spiritually, I feel like we would not get attached, spiritually, we can come together and we can love deeply and we can have these huge experiences spiritually without the need of attachment. But our human self, day in and day out, his presence in my life, him being next to me all day long, every day, everywhere I go, whatever I do, he's with me, and so, that presence in your life, it's just such a void, right, at some point. And so you even see that, right, and honestly, in some ways, just knowing that is sort of a good thing, because I don't think I've ever taken a single second of being with Bhakti for granted. If he looks at me, if he needs something, if he wants something, man, I am up and getting it for him. I know consciously that he has a short amount of time on this planet, and I am extremely lucky to be able to share that with him, and he can have whatever he wants. And I will be his slave any day, all day, no problem. But there is this energy here of absence. Absence can do two things, right? It's interesting. It can make us feel nostalgic. It can make us feel like, oh man, all those good times, all those great things that we experienced, I don't know if I'll ever be able to experience those again, or ever feel that way again, or ever be that version of myself again. And, there is a sadness, right? But it can also give us space to get real honest and to really come to a place where we really can fully understand and process that, it was what it was, but it also in and of itself wasn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Or it how do I want to say? Everything is a duality. And sometimes And the nostalgia doesn't let us be honest. You know how like when people pass away and people are like, oh, don't say anything bad about the dead. Don't say anything bad about, you know, someone who isn't here to defend themselves. But the reality is, just because someone passed away does not mean that they were perfect, or does not mean that they didn't leave some kind of lasting scar or some kind of wound. And when we can't really acknowledge it, when we can't really be honest about it, when we can't really say, yeah, you know, they weren't perfect or whatever. I don't know. It just feels like we're denying something. We're denying ourselves some part of the experience. And we're kind of shattering ourselves a little bit more. We're kind of splitting a little bit between the reality and what we feel we're allowed to say or feel or do. I don't know, but what I'm getting with this unappreciated disagreements and habits is sometimes somebody wasn't there. It wasn't all it was cracked up to be. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great. And the reason that we miss it is because it was a habit. You know, if you've ever quit smoking, it's really freaking hard. And when you first quit, it's like all you can think about is the loss of the thing and how bad you want it and how bad you want it back and how bad you're just gonna like get in your car and go to the gas station and buy a pack of cigarettes. Believe me, I know I've quit smoking a few times in my life. And then, you know, you're fine. But, you know, when my mother-in-law passed away, I haven't smoked anything since 11/22. One of my best friends and I quit the Juul together because we were juuling. By that point, we weren't, I guess, actually smoking cigarettes anymore. But my mother-in-law smoked, and my mother-in-law and I used to love to drink coffee and smoke together and just, you know, just like chit-chat and talk, and I don't know, we were really close. And my husband's brother still smokes, and we had a drink after the funeral, and I was like, give me that cigarette right now. I need that thing. And I have not craved a cigarette at all, you know, but given the right circumstances, something that you allowed yourself to grow accustomed to in your life at any point can sort of maybe like come back and feel like a good idea again, or like something that maybe you even need or that you're even craving again. I feel like some of you may have someone coming back from the past, and I feel like there is this thing, some kind of message coming through about being realistic about what that really was and what that was really meant to be, and kind of how hard it was for you to maybe even put the pieces back together of your life, and how that process actually changed you, and that you are not even the same person. I'm hearing it's too late, baby, it's too late. Yeah, I don't know, but it's like, it's something that once felt like it just about broke you, that I feel like is coming back, and you're not, and I feel like, you know, Pisces, I can't tell you what to do, like, at all, but I am just really focused on this be mine, that there is some new experience coming, and sometimes it's hard to trust what you can't see. It's sometimes hard to trust that there's a bird in the bush when there's one here in your hand, even if it's got a history that's not too great, it can be tempting to try it because it's in your hand. Oh my gosh, Pisces. So you have the 5 of air, you have the world, and you have the 3 of air. So this is the 5 of swords, the 3 of swords, and the world card. This is the cycle that I feel like you have already completed, or it's something that's completing now. We're all on different timelines. So there's kind of this energy of, I still feel a fragility or a vulnerability to it. It's like we have completely closed it out, but we're not so far away from it that we can't, that we have no memory of it. You know, it's like when you have a baby, you this amazing thing happens where you get like amnesia and you can't really remember how awful it was. And so you have this great idea to do it again. And then you're like, oh my gosh, you know, like, I don't know. I don't think the amnesia has completely set in. Maybe it has, but I feel like with this 5 of air, with the 3 of air on the bottom and the 5 of air, I feel like there's still this vulnerability of thought. There's still this energy of, well, you could convince me, or I still have enough kind of thoughts here. They're still changing. They're still, they haven't quite solidified to where I'm like rock solid, absolutely not, no way, you can't come back. And even if I say that, even if I think that, there's something here with the 5 of swords coming out with the world card that's letting me know that like there is still some vulnerability here. Let me clarify. It's like you may not actively be suffering or feeling the hurt or the pain. You know, you may be having moved through that space, but then there's like, you know, we're not, oh, there is something here about all these birds. You see, it's like they're almost, it's like there's here, 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 and that one's flying. And then you have this 9 of swords clarifying the world card. The timing here is very interesting. For some of you, and there's almost this energy of feeling kind of maybe afraid that you're not going to get another chance at love, or that you won't ever feel this way again. I keep getting that feeling. And for others of you, there is this energy of you may already be kind of starting something new, or kind of looking at this new opportunity, or you may have met this person or be starting out on this situation. And this person's reemergence in your life or whatever is kind of calling you to, I don't know, get a look back on it, to see how you feel about it or what you think about it now that you're in a different situation, or now that you have another choice. For some of you, the new choice doesn't come in until after you say no to this person, if you do. For some of you, it felt like this cycle was never going to end, like you were never going to get over this person, or you were never going to be able to move on. But it's like, no, you're finally rising above it, and here comes this person. This person may have even been spying on you. The Seven of Cups, a lot of you are having options. Oh, God. Oh my gosh. Pisces, nothing can bring you down unless nothing can, you're in an energy here where I feel like you're getting a lot of recognition or admiration, or I'm getting like nothing can bring you down. I'm getting just this kind of energy of like you're having success and victory in different ways. You have made progress beyond where this place was that you thought you were stuck. This inner conflict, this inner turmoil, possibly over this person leaving or whatever the case may be. And here this person comes back. And with the Seven of Swords, here clarifying this Messenger of Swords, or Messenger of Air, whatever, it's swords. There's just this energy of there's something dishonest about the way that they left. Either they said they didn't care and they cared, or they ghosted, or they cheated, or they took some chicken way out of a situation here, and that may have been what really left you shattered. When someone doesn't tell you why, when someone gives you no explanation, when someone pulls the rug out from underneath you, when someone does that kind of thing to you, you're the one holding the bag. You're the one that has to figure out what that reason is, you know? And the thing is, we can accept, right, that like, okay, well, you know, that person doesn't deserve to be in my presence, right? Because if they can treat me that way, then, you know, I don't need people like that in my life, right? We can take that road. We can take that decision, that choice to think like that. But there are things in life, you know, it's like leaving your garage door open or thinking, did I leave my garage door open? And then the whole time you're like, gosh, did I? And your brain just keeps revisiting it over and over and over again until you finally get the answer, until you finally see the garage door is down or up or whatever the case may be. It's kind of like that. It's like your mind is going to keep revisiting, like, but why did they do that? But why did that happen? But, you know, over and over and over again, because it makes no sense to you. And the thing is, unfortunately, there are people in this world who intentionally do things like that to keep you that way, you know? For other people, they're just cowardly and they can't earn their way out of a relationship. But you've got these two sevens here, and you also have 5, 6, 7 happening a lot. 5, 6, 7. You know, 5, 6, 7. So you're in the middle of some progress here, and this is really, the story is centered around you and the progress that you're making and the places you're going and the things that you're figuring out. It's not about this person. This person is like entering into your space, and you have the opportunity to handle it however you want. You see, it's like, I don't know why I just keep getting they can't bring you down. You've learned a spiritual lesson. With the 2 sevens, that's a spiritual lesson. I'm even getting like, why are you coming back now? Like, what is it right now that it's like, if you look at that and you examine that, I feel like it will be really useful. So you have the 4 of Earth, the 6 of Earth, the 8 of Earth, and the Page of Fire. And, you know, the Page of Fire is where we're choosing what we desire. And this can be someone coming back and saying, you know what, I'm choosing this. This is what I desire now. I put a lot of work in on myself, and you know, I'm ready for this now. Maybe I wasn't ready for it before, whatever. I am definitely getting with the 4 of Earth and the 6 of Earth separate, but adding up to the 10 of Earth, the 10 of Pentacles. I'm still not sure. There seems to be some where sometimes they can give equally to the situation, and sometimes they hold back. Sometimes they believe in, you know, having the kind of relationship or participating in the way that you want them to or need them to, and then sometimes they pull back. So there's kind of this energy of wanting it is not enough. Having put the work in, I mean, that's all in the eye of the beholder, right? But if you really have genuinely done the work, then you kind of, there's no place for the 4 of Earth, because you understand that you need a balanced, harmonious relationship. And in order to have that, it has to be an equal give and take. Okay. You have the 4, 5, 6 here with the 5 of Wands, the 4 of Earth, and the 6 of Earth, which is this card. And then you have a lot of 6s here. 6 here, 6 here, and this is the 6 of Wands. And you have the 3 6s card here. The universe is trying to drive something home with you about what you're aligning with and what you're trying to create, and not allowing things that you are, just because something shows up in your life as an option or an opportunity doesn't mean that it's in your highest and best good. And with the Page of Fire, this is like you also deciding, what do you desire? What path do you want to take? And trusting that if you say no to a path, another path will appear. Jeez. Guys, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to tell you that you should walk away from this person or tell you what to do. Only you can know what's best for you. But certainly with the Queen of Swords energy and the 8 of Cups energy, the Queen of Swords will entertain you. She will let you speak your piece. She will listen. She's all about the communication, and she will receive whatever communication you have to offer you, or you have to offer her. That's why she's got this hand up like this. But she's also got that sword there, and that sword is the bullshit meter. That sword is the, this is for me, this isn't for me. This is in alignment with me, this isn't in alignment with me. You are speaking to me the truth, and your truth aligns with my truth, or no, you know? So if someone comes back in some halfway way where they really don't want to acknowledge something, or don't want to apologize for something, or don't want to take ownership or accountability for something, I feel like you're in an energy where you're just going to cut it off, no problem. Because I think it's just going to be so obviously not in resonance with you. And I feel like you will walk away. However, you know, with the 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, there are many burdens that we bear. And you know I've told this story many times about my one of my best friends who like stayed with this guy for a really long time, who was really just not showing up for the relationship. And everybody kept telling her, oh my gosh, dump this guy. And she would come to me and she would say to me, should I dump him? Like, do you think that I need to? Like, I'm having a really hard time. Like, I really don't want to. And I said to her, listen, girl, I was like, only you can answer that. Like, and you got to trust yourself, and you got to trust your own instincts, because yeah, it may be a burden carrying around this relationship, you know, that isn't really giving you what you need or want. But if you cut it off because your friend tells you to, or because other people think you should, you're going to also be carrying a different weight around, which is, what if I would have just waited another week? What if I would have just given it one more shot? So, you know, pick your thing, but do it according to what is in alignment with you and nobody else. You know, because if you make your decisions based on what other people think, then you're inheriting their karma. You're learning their lesson. You're not learning your lesson. And so there's kind of this energy about, you know, we're closing a cycle of burdens here. We are walking away from the things that did not make us happy, we did not find fulfilling. And we are walking toward our wish fulfillment consciously and mindfully. And we are using this energy of the Queen of Swords to decide, you know, where do you get to be in my world, in my life, in my place? Where am I going to let you be? And what burden am I willing to carry and what am I not? Because I'm closing out a cycle of burdens and I'm letting them go. I'm actively releasing them and I'm actively not taking new ones on. I'm in an energy of choosing the direction I want to go and the path that I want to take. And I'm doing it based on what I desire, not anything else. Nothing limited, that's for sure. And, you know, it's like at different times in your life, you might have been willing, you know, the Eight of Cups might have seemed really good. If you were only at like, you know, the Four of Cups, something Eight of Cups might have seemed like, wow, such an advancement, such an improvement, you know. Maybe that I should invest in that, or maybe I should give that a go, but not where you're sitting now. Not where you're sitting now. That is what I'm getting. You guys have learned a spiritual lesson, and this spiritual lesson was something that was really important for you to be able to completely move forward. And for you to kind of like open yourself up to the many, many, many opportunities that are available in life out there. And to even see them, I feel like. And to be able to release the burdens that may have been in your way from seeing them in the past. You know, sometimes I get this a lot with clients that come to me, and there's no judgment, but people will say to me, well, if it's not my past person, then I don't know who could be coming. Well, right. You didn't know your past person was coming until they showed up. You know, I sure as hell did not. I did not in any way think that I was going to meet my husband when I met him. You know, I was like 20 years old at a grocery store. Like, I didn't think I was meeting my husband that day. Your life can change in the blink of an eye. And when you are so dialed into the material world that you're like, well, if it's not this person's the only person in my orbit. And if it's not that person, then there's no one else it could be. But we have no idea, you know, your life can just change in the blink of an eye. You could meet someone like that. Like, you just don't know, right? And so when we look at the world as this really abundant place where anything could happen all the time, and you're expecting miracles and you're expecting strokes of luck and good fortune, that's what you're going to find, and that's what's going to happen, and that's what you're going to have. But if you are sitting here kind of going, well, I think it's got to be my past person, because that's really the only person that, you know, and it's not even, wow, oh my God, this is somebody's story. It isn't even just that you could meet someone. It's that the way you look at someone could change in the blink of an eye. Oh, for some of you, there's somebody already in your life that you've already maybe like made some kind of decision about, that you would be really surprised if you got to know them. It's very human to see the material world and think that's all there is. And there's a heavy, heavy emphasis right now. Yeah, guys. Whew. Okay. Messenger of Earth is being clarified by the Two of Wands. This is, you have, you know, in the Two of Wands, he's got his hand on this wand, but he's really focused on this world. And this is the world he's trying to create. And when you're really focused on the world you're trying to create and the world that you want to see, all of your choices, every time you come to the crossroads, it's going to reflect that you believe this is possible. And that this is what you're focused on. This is what you're manifesting. This, you're making your choices based around this world that you want. There's something about learning this lesson. And this is a lesson of the material world. And then you got this Eight of Wands with this King of Cups. And this is like, this can be like out of freaking nowhere. Someone who's emotionally mature, someone who can process their own emotions, the match to your Queen of Cups energy shows up. The Eight of Wands is Cupid's arrows. It's also forward progress without any obstacles. And it's also a very fast moving energy where your life literally can change in a blink of an eye. And so for some of you, this may have already happened. For others of you, it's still happening. Oh my God, I just got the strongest message again. You could have a conversation with someone that where you suddenly realize that this person is someone capable of processing their own emotions. Guys, I am just getting this major shakeup energy right here of just expect the unexpected, be open to all the possibilities, see life as an abundant place with where anything can happen at any time, because you may be very surprised here at the end of this year. Going into next year, I feel there's a heavy emphasis on that. You may be in a commitment quickly. Like, you may be going from, I'm just over here kind of choosing the things that I desire and creating this world that I, focusing on this world that I like want to have my life the way that I want it to be, after having learned some kind of major spiritual lesson. And then boom, out of the blue, here comes my counterpart. Boom, out of the blue, we are in some level of commitment. Like, anything is possible. Every once in a while, I'll get a comment on my videos of like, oh, this is too positive. This doesn't happen. Honey, I am living proof that it happens. And it always makes me laugh my ass off when people write that stuff, because I'm like, hello, I'm speaking to you from my experience. I am talking to you very, very genuinely from my heart. And this is my experience. I literally walked into a grocery store one day and everybody was like, oh my gosh, you need to meet the new manager. He's taller than you, because I'm 6 feet tall. And I was like, oh, okay. My whole life changed. I've never had, my whole life changed. It absolutely happens. I've never had a single regret. I've never had it's like that chance encounter was like defined my life in so many ways and has been the greatest thing that ever freaking happened to me. And you guys are one breath away from it. You're one breath away from it. And if you don't believe it, it will not happen. It's not. The universe isn't going to be like, let me just prove you wrong. No, because you won't have the eyes to see it when it happens, even if it were to happen. You have to believe in it. You have to know that it's true. And I'm here to tell you, it is true. It is possible. 100%. I'm speaking from my own experience. I'm speaking from a spiritual being having a human experience that literally walked into a grocery store one day and met the love of her life. Totally unexpectedly. And he's been the most amazing partner anyone could ever ask for. So, it happens. It's not too positive. I can promise you that. And anyway, things are a spectrum, so you decide, but I'm telling you, it's possible. The Strength card. You guys have gotten the Strength card like 3 days in a row. Some of you may be dealing with a Leo or a Taurus. you are getting the Queen of Air with the 5 of Water. Someone from your past is coming back. Someone that has a lot of regrets. Someone that, I don't know, there's courage here on both sides. There's the courage to like find the confidence to come in and say something to you, Pisces, but there's also the courage of you to speak your truth and to, it's like, I feel like you earned this Queen of Air energy probably from your interaction with this person, or possibly over time with many interactions, but you know, this is one thing where you have the owl of wisdom on your shoulder, and I feel like you can trust that. You know, you can trust your intuition, you can trust your discernment. You know, it may have taken a lot of confidence for this person to come in, but yeah, you learned a lot from being left out in the cold. You sure did. Look at this. Yeah, this person can come back and they can try and they can tell you how much they regret what they did, right? But you have not forgotten this feeling of drowning and how it was to pull yourself up out of it, and to find your own strength and your own confidence and to learn to tame your beast. And if this person has truly learned how to tame the beast within them that caused them to do this in the first place, which is probably one of their deep fears of abandonment, so maybe they abandon you first, or a lack of self-worth or whatever, you know, you found it in you to rise above it and to come back stronger. And if this person truly has too, you will see it. You will be able to identify it. You will know. You have discernment. You have earned that energy. All right, Pisces, let me get you some message cards. If you're dealing with a water sign, I struggle with addiction. I secretly listen to your the voice clips you sent me. If you are dealing with a fire sign, do you ever think about me? And you are my 2 of Cups. If you are dealing with an earth sign, oh my goodness, you're getting, I often dream of you. Thank you for loving me as I am. And I want to build a life with you. And if you are dealing with an air sign, I'm sorry for not appreciating you more, and I want to spend my life with you. Oh, Pisces, I hope this helps. I hope this brought you some peace and clarity today. I love you guys. Thank you again for yesterday. If you want to book a private reading, there are very few left, to all of my regulars, who I think are people that generally watch to the end. And gosh, guys, all my best, always, always. This is some freaky wild ride we are on, and I'm really happy to be on it with you guys. All right, until next time, all my best always. Bye-bye.